Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Wednesday, August 17, 2022. I'm Jeremy Crosby. Hope you had a great day. Glad you're tuning in with us for Talking Fitchburg. A little bit of maybe a rain shower passing through tonight. And, well, the rest of the week's got isolated chances. And even going the weekend, it looks like it's a very dicey weekend for wet weather. So Agora Art Fair is coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that in the headlines coming up. Got a jam-packed show for you, though. We'll be checking in with the Badger Prairie Needs Network, holding their grand opening press event today of the new Cochetta Center at Badger Prairie Needs Network. We'll take you out to that event. Plus, we'll check in with the city administrator and learn more about this year's budget as we work through the budget process. It's 2 times a year, CIP and budget. That's what staff say, but we've got that breakdown with you coming up with Chad Brecklin, your city administrator here on the show. But first, let's get you a few headlines, and we start with Board of Review. Board of Review is scheduled for the city of Fitchburg on August 31st at 9 a.m. Anyone wishing to file an objection must contact the city clerk's office to complete and submit the required objection form supplied by the city prior to appearing before the Board of Review. Objections will be scheduled to be heard by the board in the order in which they are received by the city clerk's department. And of course, you got any questions on your assessment, contact the assessor's office. They'll do the best to answer your questions. Current job openings at the city of Fitchburg. We got a few of them for you. Love you to join Team Fitchburg. We've got a community service officer position open, a court cashier, information technology director just opened up, library assistant #1 position at a part-time position, police officer lateral or entry-level position, and shelvers at the Fitchburg Public Library. If you're interested in any of these jobs, head to our website, fitchburgwi.gov, for more information. We've got the next Fitchburg Center Farmers Market coming up on Thursday, and I know it looks like a little bit of rain. Well, it's under the iconic, I love how it says iconic, Agora Pavilion. Over 25 vendors from southern Wisconsin are there to sell everything from produce to flowers to baked goods to cheese. You name it, they got it. Come on out this Thursday, August 18, 3 to 6 p.m. You got to take advantage now while the weather is good. Good in the fact that, still nice out. Even a little rain, we can handle. We got thick skin here in Wisconsin, so we'll do. And I say that because we got the Agora Art Fair happening this weekend, and I know rain or shine, it's right there, rain or shine event happening. The Agora Art Fair is back this Saturday, August 20th. Celebrate its 14th anniversary. Over 100 local and regional artists, live music, and activities for children and adults will be featured this Saturday at the Agora Pavilion. That's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I was reading through yesterday through all of the great vendors that are going to be out at the Agora Art Fair for food. They have a great lineup of food on top of everything else. So it's pretty cool. Like when you're looking at everything that is included in this event, like all the great art, it's set in a great setting at Agora. You've got local music, and then the food and drink. It's all artists in their own right. So I think it just makes it an extra special event happening this weekend. Like I said, rain or shine. So we hope to see you out there this weekend. All right, we got to take a quick break. Coming up next, we open up our digest, taking you out to Badger Prairie Needs Network, introducing you to the Cochetta Center. Next, right here on Talking Fitchburg.
Considerando el número de desastres naturales que ocurren en los Estados Unidos, es probable que en la próxima década todas las regiones tengan que lidiar con alguna clase de emergencia. Entre la escuela, los deportes y la vida social, es probable que cuando suceda usted no esté con sus hijos. ¿Saben ellos qué hacer? Listo.gov/niños tiene información y herramientas educativas para facilitar esta conversación. Cuando llegue el momento, se sentirán preparados y no asustados. Así que hable con su familia hoy mismo.
Así que no le cuento todo y sobre de encajar, siento como que me va a decir que es una ridiculez.
Puedo entender eso completamente.
Bailando entre dos vidas, el pasado y el futuro.
Man, it's lonely. Like going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg in the Digest, and today we're going to take you out to the Badger Prairie Needs Network. They launched the grand opening of the new Cochetta Center located at the Badger Prairie Needs Network, and this new 4,800 square foot event space provides opportunities for job training and community gatherings, and here is a look at this special place.
The BPNN board voted unanimously nearly 2 years ago to name the building in honor of Bob and Marcia Cochetta. And Bob and Marcia's contributions to BPNN will leave long-lasting impact. Through Bob's quiet determination and persistence, Marcia's creativity and exuberance, their influence is apparent in every facet of BPNN, and they've created a really solid foundation for the organization for the future. The work you've accomplished on behalf of BPNN is an impressive legacy and will be valued and treasured by the community and your children and grandchildren for years to come.
This has not been a 1 or 2 person job. This has been the work of 1,000 volunteers. So everyone in the room that volunteers here, could you please raise your hand for a while?
Nobody ever thinks you'll get an honor like this, and it's very humbling. And at the risk of sounding ungrateful, it feels very uncomfortable because there are so many people who do so much to help this organization that it could have been named 1,000 different ways, and I don't feel worthy of that. Now, when I talk about Marcia, I think they've got it exactly right. I have seen her more times than I could tell you, working at all hours, getting grants, coming up with new programs, implementing those programs, making certain that everything worked well. And if you came here on a day when she was working, you would see a sense of fun. Now, that's not something you associate with a food pantry. It's not something you associate with an organization that's designed to provide service to people, many of whom are going through difficult times. But to be able to inspire that sort of spirit is amazing. You look around you and there is something special here. There is something that hasn't been duplicated anywhere else. Trust me, I've looked. As we came up with ideas, I thought, well, if I could steal someone else's ideas, that would be fundamentally easier than coming up with something original. And there's nothing out there like this. Now, I could tell you a lot about Badger Prairie Needs Network. I could tell you that this year we're on pace to hit 30,000 people served. I could tell you that's up from 19,000 people we served last year. I could tell you that the majority of the people we serve are people of color, that more than 35% of the people we serve have roots in the Spanish-speaking community. I could tell you that we have contributed more than $250,000 in free legal services last year. I could give you all kinds of statistics, all of them true, all of them accurate, none of them capturing what Badger Prairie Needs Network is about. What this place is about is love. It's about the common notion that we care for one another, not because we have to, but because we should. It's about the notion that those people who come to us and need service are our neighbors and our friends. They're people who are us. And unless and until we break down those borders of us and them, we don't stand a chance. We have had the benefit of significant, important, vital partnerships. And I know, it's easy to bash government. People do it all the time. It's part of our First Amendment right. But government acts best when it helps those who cannot help themselves. Government serves a vital purpose when it gets things done.
They're extraordinary people, and I know this isn't about Bob and Marcia, but it is. Kindness, caring, people that do the right thing. Bob's got a law office. He's a lawyer. He should be making all sorts of bucks there. He's doing all this work, and for nothing, and absolutely helping people every single day. And Marcia is doing the same, and they're just good friends and good human beings. And now we have a new training and community facility that will be another link in a strong network of services to help people that are impoverished and help them gain the skills to be a member of our workforce. And as anybody knows that thinks about this, our workforce numbers in the state of Wisconsin are, everybody's working. Anybody that isn't, we want to make sure that we have good paying jobs and having people fill those jobs. And this facility is going to help us do that here. So not only do they do things in the darkest of times when we have a pandemic, but they're doing it as we recover from that pandemic and making sure that the needs of the community of Dane County and frankly the state of Wisconsin are met so that we're in a better place. And thank you for doing that.
The pandemic has had all kinds of influences on people. Many people, not just you lost a little business, you lost maybe everything. And other people were doing really, really well. It's a very uneven effect that it had in the economy, but all the more it had a reason for people to need to be able to come out here and get the support and the additional support that they were able to get as they're looking to get jobs and get additional training and continue to help them in their lives. We were fortunate at the federal level. There were a few bills we were able to do, the American Rescue Plan that helped provide some resources to the state and local government. What the governor didn't tell you was he has literally put tens of millions of dollars into helping people who need food assistance in the state. And also on job training. We've had 3 big bills this session. The rescue plan had some money for job training. The infrastructure bill had job training dollars. And most recently, the Inflation Reduction Act had some specific dollars for job training. So I'm looking forward to seeing this program, this building, do all the work that we know it can do to help so many people. And to the 1,000+ volunteers who've put all the effort in, as Bob said, almost every single person is here not getting a paycheck. They're just helping in their community, like the love that Bob and Marcia have for Verona and their community. Thank you for that. That does truly mean everything. And I just have a little special congressional recognition we wanted to present to Badger Prairie Needs Network. I know you probably wish there was a check in here, but at least we got some recognition this time for you.
It's so easy today to turn on the news, to look on your phone, and to see story after story of animosity and of hate and of everything that's wrong with society right now and how people treat each other. But what we don't see enough of is this. I wish you could all see my view from up here. I see person after person who cares so deeply about their neighbors. And the knowledge that if we're all there for one another, we're all going to have someone there for us. And that defines our community. And that's what I see over and over today. So I think, Bob and Marcia, to honor you today, I just want to recognize that. And it gives me hope, it inspires me, and I hope it does the same for you.
All right, there you have it. Thanks everybody who came out for this great event. And of course, stop by BPNN. Take a quick break. Coming up next, we open up our guest segment. We're checking in with the city administrator next right here on TF.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today is your city administrator, Chad Brecklin. Chad, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Jeremy. How are you doing today?
Doing wonderful. Thank you for taking the time out. Busy time. And maybe there's never not a busy time for the city administrator, but busy time in the budget season time right now, which affects all of the city employees. Kind of give us an update, Chad, of where we're at in the process and what we'll be seeing here, coming up.
Yeah, so you are right. I will confirm with you that there is always a busy time for the city administrator, and I just happen to be spending a lot of my time right now working with our finance director, Misty Dodge, and all of our department heads like yourself on development of the 2023 operational budget. So as you've mentioned, and as you know, yesterday was kind of one of the kickoffs meetings for presentations on the operating budget. And today is day 2 where all of the department heads will be presenting to Mayor Richardson in regards to their proposals for the 2023 operating budget. As I learned yesterday, or really as it was confirmed yesterday, we do have a number of staffing needs throughout the city. We are a growing community, as anyone who would drive through the community would know. And we did, on just a bit of an aside, got our updated population estimates from the Department of Administration yesterday, and that put us at an estimated population now of 31,817 people, I believe. Wow. And that would be pre-attachment to the town of Madison, which is, about another 1,400 people or so. So we're rapidly approaching 33,000, at least on a DOA estimate. Tangent aside, I'll put that back away there, Jeremy. So my apologies for getting off script here, but with the growing community, clearly there are a lot of staffing needs throughout all of or certainly the vast majority of our departments. And a lot of costs are increasing when we all just take a look around between supply chain issues, cost of fuel in particular, other materials that our departments would utilize and supplies. Clearly, the budget is always going to be a bit of a challenge when taking a look at what our levy limit restrictions are that have been imposed by the state legislature. So we are limited to grow our budget only by the amount of net new construction that we have annually. And Fitchburg is very fortunate to have a nice net new construction of 4.1% to work with. But when you factor in those inflationary pressures, trying to incorporate the results of a market salary poll and a very tight labor market, that 4.1% doesn't always go as far as we would like it to do or like it to go. And that presents some challenges in trying to get to those thresholds. So, yeah.
And Chad, when we're looking at budget, and this is kind of a synopsis that I've learned through the years, and especially that we share, we're on the end of sharing everybody's projects and what's going on. But as far as projects and what's developing in the budgets for the departments, maybe for the person who doesn't see this, the behind the scenes work and trying to understand what staff is doing when they're putting their budget. What are some of the things that are included in the budget? Now, granted, we're not going to go through everybody's budget today, but are you seeing, can you comment on that you see a lot of project? You said you mentioned staff. You could go as far as saying office supplies, but in general speaking, how does the budget coincide with the departments, and how is that seen then when the mayor sees it up to the council and so on?
Yeah, so I mean, as we've talked on your show before, Jeremy, we have two budgets within the city: the capital budget, which is kind of that project-based, big dollar amount stuff, and then operating budget, which is the day-to-day things to carry out the service delivery that we provide here in the city, and also in some regards to carry out those bigger projects and or purchases that are within the capital improvement budget. So what you see from the operating budget is mostly people. I think overall our percentage of our overall budget, which is somewhere around $26 million, if I recall correctly, about 70 to 75% of that $26 million is strictly for salary and benefits for city staff. And then the other 30% of that operating budget is the operating supplies, as you've mentioned. Software and maintenance agreements for the applications that we use. If there are some smaller equipment purchases, for replacement sides of things, those would be included in there. If we talk like, computers and, in your case, video cameras and other equipment to help carry out your duties. It could be anything, it could be shelves in the library. It could be, chairs in the community center. I mean, it really runs the gamut of what these purchases could be in order to, make sure that we have safe equipment, stuff that functions well and helps our team carry out their job duties in an efficient and effective manner. So it really runs the gamut of things in the operating budget. But when you start combining capital and operating budgets, you start to look at public safety provision, right? How many fire trucks do we order in any given year or a few year period? And how many police cars do we order in any given period? And then we need the people to operate those vehicles and respond to those calls for service. When we talk about our roads, we need engineers to help coordinate and design our road reconstruction and road resurfacing projects. And then obviously through the capital budget, we actually borrow the money to make those roads happen. And, a function like Fact TV, you and your team are responsible for communicating and sharing all of the government meetings, of which I learned again yesterday. And you covered, I think it was about 280 meetings last year in 2021. So, the equipment that's needed to carry out that mission, plus the staff to do so, that's what our operating budget is. That's where people really see what local government services are provided, is through that operating budget, because it's mostly comprised of the people that help get the work done and provide the services one way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I appreciate the breakdown, Chad. I think it's good to, even for me, somebody who's been here seasoned, I still learn things every day about it. But I think there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes, and everything is, we're lucky that everything is pretty transparent in Fitchburg because of what we do here at Fact TV, the stuff that's been set forth by council and so on. But this process it's such a big process, and a lot of times we hear about the end of any budget, you're like, oh god, it's a budget, whatever. But it's really it's neat to see where things are, plus keeping things up to date. I think that was good to know too, is a lot of it is you've established a lot of things. Now you got to keep operating those things and keep moving those things forward. And do you want to expand on those things? Do you want to take them back? And the staff present that to you. And then after today, can you tell, or after our process is here as it finishes out after you and Misty see it, take it from the mayor up to approval.
Yeah, so the mayor, after today's presentations from budget heads, he'll sit down and meet with Misty and I and identify where his priorities are within the operating budget and provide us with some direction there. Ultimately, we will complete a draft of the mayor's budget for him to review. That'll look to be released in mid-September ultimately. One of the things that we always wait for is some additional numbers to come in related typically to employee benefits like health insurance. So we typically don't get those numbers until early September. So it does hold us up a little bit in getting that budget released with some final preliminary numbers. And once the mayor releases his budget, obviously there'll be an opportunity for the public to weigh in on a number of different occasions through the process. Our alders will have a chance to review the budget and offer amendments to that budget and then subsequently vote on those amendments. From a timing perspective, and I assume we'll chat about this in future segments, is typically towards the end of October is when we debate the amendments. And ultimately, the first meeting in November is the target for action on the budget, likely meaning approval of the budget in whatever way, shape, or form it ends up to be through amendments. Few, many, none, whatever the case may be. And we'll look to have an adopted budget that first meeting in November, which for those paying attention at home, it will be a week earlier than normal. It will be the first Tuesday of November, not the second as it typically would be because of an election on the second Tuesday in November this year. So we wanted to give our clerk's office in particular the ability to focus their efforts on the election on the second Tuesday. So we moved up the meeting 1 week.
That's pretty nice. I'm sure they appreciate it, and give everybody a chance to get out their vote, do their thing, and then check back in for that meeting. And you're right, Chad, we will have other discussions as we move through the process, but great breakdown today. Appreciate your time as always, and we'll look forward to chatting with you next month.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jeremy.
You betcha. Chad Brecklin, your city administrator, talking some budget today. Good to hear the breakdown, and he's got a lot more meetings ahead, and we'll have all the details coming up for sure here on Fact TV, on our Gov channel, and here on the Com channel through TF. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.
Como padre, todos los días son un desafío y hay que estar ahí presentes. No importa lo cansado que uno esté, hay que estar ahí presentes para ellos. Cuando los niños aprenden algo nuevo, es ese momento mágico y especial. Y creo que presenciar ese momento es mi favorito.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg, wrapping up the show. Taking already so much time today because we've had some great guests and I've taken some fun trips today. So as you wrap up here, remember you can stay connected with Fact TV. All the information is on your screen, and have a great evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow.